Hi everyone, welcome back to Grace Plus Purpose. My name is Cheryl Higgins. Before I go any further, let me just apologize for being offline for so very long. And to those of you who are new to this channel, on this channel I share with you about life issues and challenges, how to overcome them in order to operate in your God-given purpose. Welcome back to another episode of Grace Plus Purpose. Also, just before we begin, let me just inform you that in order to share with you a wealth of information, I have put together some notes on my computer, so from time to time, I'll be making reference to the notes. Okay guys, so for today, I'll be speaking with you on the importance of maintaining good emotional health. Now this will be a two-part series, and for today we'll be talking about the importance of maintaining good emotional health, and in the upcoming episode I will be sharing with you on how to regulate your emotions, and I'll also be providing you with some coping strategies for how to handle emotional challenges. So guys, let's get down to the meat of the matter. Emotions are a normal part of everyday life. Our emotions are what God has given to us to help us to cope with situations, to help us to handle situations, to handle stress, etc., to handle everyday life. So emotions are perfectly normal, but how we deal with them and how we react emotionally, that is where the challenge can come in. You know, from time to time, all of us at some point in time, we allow our emotions to spin out of control. But for some persons, this occurs quite regularly. And whenever this occurs, it affects how we think about things and how we react to situations, and thereby affect our lives. Guys, whenever we allow our emotions to get out of control, or whenever we allow the emotions to control us, we often end up saying things that we wouldn't normally have said and doing things that we wouldn't normally have done. And oftentimes, this can be hurtful to others and even hurtful to ourselves. Alright, so this is why it is important to know how to handle emotional situations, because it can bring unnecessary stress to our lives. So guys, what I'm going to say next is something that I want you to, if you don't remember anything else at all that I say to you in this session, I want you to remember this. You cannot be healthy overall if you are unhealthy emotionally. And for emphasis, I'm just going to go ahead and repeat. You cannot be healthy overall if you are unhealthy emotionally. That is how important emotional health is. Let me just delve into some of the consequences of unhealthy emotions. Alright guys? So when we have unhealthy emotions, we become prone to having misguided thoughts, which can lead us into making poor decisions. And just imagine you're in a situation at work and your boss says something to you. You take it to mean one thing, and for the entire day, you are there just disturbed about the situation. You know, a client comes up to you, and this would have been a day when you would have accomplished, you know, possibly you had a financial target to meet, but because your emotions were so out of balance, you know, the client got turned off by the whole encounter and how you dealt with him or her. And then, you know, you end up at the end of the day, you're feeling stressed. You feel like, oh, I didn't accomplish anything today. You go home with all that stress and the emotional burden. You take it home, and your kids are affected by it. Your husband is affected by it. and you are there thinking that, oh, what is wrong, this day is just such a terrible day, not realizing that that one thing, that one situation that occurred with your manager could have been dealt with in a different way, and your day could have gone in a totally different way for the better. So that is how important emotional health is, and learning how to cope with our emotions. The next thing, one of the other consequences that unhealthy emotions can bring, guys, is jealousy. Now, when you think about jealousy, automatically we think about romantic relationships. Imagine you're in a romantic relationship, and for ladies, I'm speaking to us now, and the poor guy, he loves you so very much, but because your emotions are out of balance, a situation may occur and you're uncertain about it, and instead of confronting, in a respectful way, confronting the person about it to ask the relevant questions, you form your own perceptions about the matter, you fill in the blanks for yourself, and you end up being jealous over a situation that possibly you could have been wrong, but had you made the time to speak to your partner about it, it could have gone a totally different way. And then, ladies, also, let me just drop this in right here, that there are often very good guys out there, but because of how we deal with our relationships emotionally, we can actually turn them off. Then we end up saying, oh, good men are not there. So this is how important our emotional regulation is, because it affects every sphere of our lives. Another consequence of unhealthy emotions is that it sometimes causes us to have thoughts that people are out to get us. And I'm not saying this to say that there aren't persons who have, ulterior motives in how they deal with us. But guys, not everyone is out to get us. Having unhealthy emotional lifestyle will cause us to think that everyone is out to get us, instead of, we're thinking on the positive side. And even if that is the case, where somebody's out to get you, you're making a conscious decision to remain positive about the situation and just confuse the situation overall, so that person will ultimately try. Either they will strategize another way, or they will ultimately stop. I'm sorry, I said tried. They will ultimately stop, and you carry on with your life. Alright, so another consequence of unhealthy emotions is that it can cause you to nurse feelings of perceived, and I put that in quotes, perceived hurt, which can take a long time to overcome. Because guys, let's face it, sometimes when we stay there and we nurse emotional hurt, we're making up stories in our mind, and sometimes the situation may be bad, but probably not even as bad as how we are thinking that it is. And over time we can even find ourselves in a place where we are in malice with somebody. We're not talking to the person because this is what the person did to you, and nobody can tell you anything else, and you nurse the hurt, not realizing that you are doing so much damage to yourself emotionally and mentally. And these are situations that oftentimes take long for us to overcome, because unforgiveness often gets involved, and we know the story about unforgiveness. That whenever we do that, we are really entertaining poison within ourselves. It's not so much that we're hurting the other person, but we're hurting ourselves so much more. And also, guys, another consequence of an unhealthy emotional lifestyle is that it drains you emotionally and leads to exhaustion. Imagine when you are emotionally disturbed, it's as if you live in your head. It's as if you're not totally present in the moment. It robs you of just capturing that moment and just doing whatever it is that you're supposed to do with your whole self. Because when you're not healthy emotionally, a part of you you're dwelling in your head. You're thinking about what the situation means, how they could have done this differently. You're thinking about how they hurt you. So you are not 100% present in the moment to enjoy all there is to enjoy. So being emotionally unhealthy can be very draining and can lead to exhaustion, not just for yourself, but for also the persons who have to deal with you on a daily basis. On the flip side, guys, being emotionally healthy helps you to control your thoughts, your feelings, and behaviors, because whatever affects your emotions will eventually feed to your thoughts, and how you perceive and think about situations will affect how you react to the situations. So you will either choose to react in a positive way or in a negative way. When you are emotionally healthy, you oftentimes choose to react in a positive way. Also, guys, being emotionally healthy helps you to cope better with challenges. So whenever challenges come your way, you won't just be quick to default to the negative. You won't just shut down instead of asking for answers. You will confront the situation, you will confront the persons, you will know how to ask the relevant questions to get the clarity that is needed, to know how to make sound decisions about the matter, and to know how to best handle the situation, and for everybody to go for the way forward. Being emotionally healthy, therefore, helps you to operate from the right perspective, view problems from the right perspective, and this makes it easier for you to bounce back from setbacks. So guys, it's not that challenges won't happen, problems and issues will happen every day, but how you deal with them emotionally is what will help you to bounce back from setbacks. So instead of dwelling in your emotions and allowing your emotions to control your life and to dictate to you, you'll be better able to bounce back from your setbacks. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and give you a few quick pointers on the benefits of good emotional health. So first up, guys, one of the benefits of good emotional health is that you will have resilience to stress. So it's not that stress won't come and challenges won't come, but when you react to problems from a good emotional place, then you will help to develop resilience to stress. And of course, we know, or one of the things about stress is that it can affect our immune system. So when we talk about emotional health, it is so important because it can actually affect your physical health. So when you are able to deal with emotions from a positive place, you will develop greater resilience to stress and will in turn avoid from your physical system being affected by stress. Another benefit, guys, of good emotional health is that it will help you to develop a high sense of self-worth. You will have a high self-esteem, because guys, when we talk about emotions, our thoughts are involved, feelings are involved, and based on our thoughts, our feelings, and our experiences, these are factors that influence the way that we feel about ourselves. So good emotional health helps you to see the best in yourself no matter what situation that you are faced with. Good emotional health helps you to have high self-esteem. Another benefit of good emotional health is that it will help you to have better relationships overall. The thing about this, guys, is that emotional regulation includes adapting certain skills that will help you to know how to address situations, how to address difficulty, how to address relationship issues, how to address dealing with other people. And if we are at a poor place emotionally, then this will affect how we interact with people, and this will sometimes push people away from us. But if we operate from a healthy emotional space, then we will be able to enjoy better relationships in life. A final benefit, and there are a lot of benefits, but just for in the interest of time, I'm just going to give one more, And the final one, guys, is that when you maintain good emotional health, you will have more energy to face life. You simply have more energy. Good emotional health helps you to have a positive outlook. And when you take on this perspective, it will cause you to feel more energized. You know, you will also become better able to focus and to think clearly. You know, your energy won't be drained. You'll be able to show up for life and take on life. You'll be able to show up for work. You know, when you leave work and you get home, you don't have anything weighing you down. So you'll be able to show up for the children. You'll be able to show up for your husband. You'll be able to do all those other things. You know, immerse yourself in things that bring you joy. Immerse yourself in things that bring you comfort, instead of dwelling in your mind and thinking about how hurt you were about the situation and you know how all the negative things. So when you're healthy emotionally, you're at a better place, which allows you to have more energy overall. So guys, let us take the time to invest in ourselves by working on our emotions. Because the truth of the matter is that this is one of the simple ways in which we can change the course of our lives and reap healthier outcomes on our journey to attaining our God-given purpose. And with that said, guys, we have come to the end of another interesting episode here on Grace Plus Purpose. I want to thank you all very much for viewing. And remember, as was promised, that this is a two-part series. So look out for part 2 in this series on emotional health and well-being. And guys, if you haven't as yet subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Share the video with as many persons, because all of us, truth is, we all need to work on our emotions. And this is a very important topic, because the truth of the matter is we all need to work on our emotions. And just before I go, like I always say, grace yourself.